flannel pajama pants
geez,
on.
oh, damn.
Walked out there and I said, goodness gracious, this is a bit chilly out here.
Oh, there was a mental picture I did not need to have this morning.
Normally when people used to do that back in the day, they'd go out in their robe and their pajama pants and they'd pick up the newspaper from the foot of the driveway. No one's doing that much anymore, are they?
No, they're not. They're not. But I can't get beyond the visual of you in a robe and pajamas. Great. Thanks for ruining the show.
Well,
didn't even start yet.
If you think that's a visual, how about my my neighbors who see it?
No. Well, I mean, you're all clothed.
How about I'm fully clothed? I would imagine over at the Smith estate, there's similar habitual going abouts.
Yeah, but I don't wear a robe.
I know that's what's terrifying. Is you don't wear a robe.
I don't wear a robe.
I at least wear a robe.
There you go. Well, okay. Now that we started off the show at that high point,
so
tell me why it takes fractions of a second for a bank to take money out of my account, but I'm being told it takes. Where they made the mistake, it's going to take 2 days to put it back. Tell me how that
That's
happens.
some total BS. Did you hear that? Now, to the bank's credit, you could have checks for your business account, like most business accounts do. You do each month go to the bank for, what is that particular type? It's called a...
You don't even know what it is.
I mean, normally folks don't pay that way.
Cashier's check.
It's a cashier's check. I don't mind the cashier's check by any means. The cashier's check does have some risk, Keith. Because if the cashier's check is lost, the money's gone.
So you're trying to tell me from the bank to here, I'm that much of a ditch that I'm going to lose a check from here to there. Is that what you're trying to tell me?
That's not what I
Road
say.
boy?
That's not what I say. Today's going to be a good show, I can tell.
What is it, Real Men Wear Flannel? Who did that?
Real Men
Steve
Wear...
Martin.
Steve Martin did that.
Real Men Wear Flannel?
Judah wears flannel on most days.
Yeah, I can see that.
I would say most days.
I mean, in summertime, Judah's wearing 2 button-down flannel shirts with some long johns underneath.
Well, that's the whole Seattle thing. He's got that whole Seattle vibe going on.
He gets
the
chilly.
Beard.
I do keep it a little chilly here in the studio.
I think Real Man Wear Flannel, I think, is a Steve Martin thing. So anyway.
I know you're close.
Judah's going to look it up. I think he's going to look it up.
He's got his microphone
I know,
today.
dude. He's a fantastic human being.
Yeah, what are we going to talk about today?
We can rock and roll when you're ready there, Judah Wickower. You say that every show.
I do.
Dead men don't wear plaid.
That's it.
I knew exactly what you were talking about, but it's been a long time.
I wasn't even close.
Oh, you were not even close. Real men wear flannel.
I had the plaid part. Real Men in Plaid I got
God,
right.
I love Keith Smith so
Dead
much.
Men don't
I
wear
gotta
plaid.
rewatch that movie.
Yeah, what year was that movie made?
We should get the cameras on. People will appreciate the visual here.
Got it.
It
Yeah.
was in '82.
Oh, that is so funny. Judah, we can rock when you're ready. Gosh, Keith, I enjoy Mondays. This is one of my favorites.
Oh, you like any day that ends in the word day.
That's true. That generally is true.
Quiet on the set.
Good Monday morning, guys. I'm Jerry Miller, and this is Real Talk with Keith Smith. Thank you kindly for joining us on a glorious morning in downtown Charlottesville, a show presented today by Yes Realty Partners. We're having so much fun. I mean, if you were listening to the show when the cameras were off, we were talking about robes, and we were talking about pajamas and how we get about in our house, and Keith Smith is doing Smithisms left and right. Steve Martin and Martin Short trying to recollect the title
of Martin Short.
No, Steve Martin. You're right, Steve Martin. Judah Wickower is a key contributor to the program as well. Let's welcome the distinguished gentleman to the show with a shirt that I think might be my favorite that you wear, my friend.
Oh, thank you. Yona likes this one too.
I very much. What's the graphic on the shirt?
It's a little flowers.
It's fantastic.
Little, and I didn't realize this until this morning, but these are YRP colors.
I know. That's why I liked it.
I didn't know that.
That's YRP. That shirt screams YRP.
Look at that. Yona said, wear this. I went, okay.
Orange and blue.
Yeah.
I mean, whoever did the Yes Realty Partners logo branding and brand identity, oh my goodness. Wow.
And the colors they picked out.
And, you know, interestingly, Yes Realty Partners has significance because YES, the initials of Keith and Yona's two beautiful daughters. And Yona's too, right?
that is actually Yona's initials.
Is it
Yona-
not your daughters too?
Well,
thought they were.
Both my daughters have two middle names.
Okay, I understand.
So-
Does one of them start with E?
One of them does, yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which one though.
Remember remember the show when you forgot what did you forget? You forgot your daughter's birthday or something?
Yeah.
I think it was their middle
You-
name.
Oh, it was a middle name. That's what it was.
You're just lucky I remember your name.
That's the middle name.
Halfway across the show 454 today, by the way.
Oh, 454, Judah.
454.
454 episodes of Magic, Keith.
Magic.
I mean, he's got his prop on the. Keith embodies zest for life, and when he goes about being a broadcaster on Real Talk with Keith Smith, he brings that mindset. If you could see behind the love sign adjacent to Keith Smith, you would see what most people would call a closet of props. I think the man has 3 crystal balls, 4 magic balls.
Hey. I've asked you not to talk about that on air.
He's got a construction cap on the hard hat.
It's a hard hat. And we got a new sticker.
Jamie Turner says the pre-show commentary is crazy these days. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
We love you, Jamie Turner. Johnny Ornalis, good morning.
It could be the meds I'm on, Jamie. I got to do some math. I didn't get a chance to take a look at week over week, but man, I'm looking at it right now. Wow, car footprint, including the other side of the mountain, 61 homes came on the market, 106 went in pending. I've got to figure out what the percentage ratio of that is.
That's not good.
It's not good. That's pretty darn, not quite at 50%. 61 would be 120, but 106 is awfully close to doubling it. And it was interesting on the way in. I got a phone call from a viewer of the show, actually. Basically said, I'm tired of renting. I thought prices were going to go down. They didn't. Help me find a house. So believe it or not, I actually do that.
He's a realtor. He helps folks buy and sell homes. He is on this talk show 3 days a week to offer some clarity to what is undoubtedly one of the most competitive real estate markets Central Virginia has seen in some time. I think that's safe to say. Inventory is meager. I spoke in the hallway with a tenant, with a gentleman that works in kind of a Zoomtown situation here in Charlottesville, and he's looking to purchase something. And he said literally to me, they own something currently.
Give me my card.
And I said, I know a guy.
I know a guy.
He said to me, he goes, there's nothing in this market. We're not even sure why we're doing this. Every single weekend we go out, we get more and more and more.
So this
crushed.
20-minute conversation on the way in from Lake Monticello to here, I was on the phone with this young person, very educated, actually a teacher by profession.
Okay.
And we spent 20 minutes talking about why, you should stay in the game. And I actually used our daughter, Yvonne, as an example in it. And, you may not get it at the exact spot that you want. Obviously, she teaches at the city of Charlottesville. She wants to be able to walk to school. And I get all that, but the numbers are not kind of letting that happen. So, my conversation with her was, look, let's get into it. Right, get into the market. It may not be the perfect first house because this will be our first-time home buyer. Build a little bit of equity up, right? We'll get Scott a little bit back into next year, refinance it, get some cash flow, get some equity built up, some generational wealth built up on it, and then make the next step a couple of years down the line. So, actually, gonna show her some homes after the show today. So
That's awesome.
Hopefully we can help this young person get out of the rut. Not that rentals is a bad. Rentals is a good thing. It has their place. But as she said, I'm tired of paying somebody else's mortgage off.
Kevin Yancey says, do we need to start being worried about foreclosures? And he references a macro story from NBC News on foreclosures upticking.
Yeah. So upticking to what, right? They are upticking. They're not upticking here, right? We can take a look at what closed in the last 7 days, and I can assure you none of them are foreclosures. It's probably, you're going to start seeing it on the outer rim. I actually watched the rest of Mandalorian.
Oh!
And so that's where the Outer Rim came.
Okay.
Came in.
Okay.
Yona had an appointment Saturday night, and she's not a fan of Star Trek, so I got to sit down and binge watch the last couple of episodes. But yeah, on the Outer Rim, that might be impactful. But man, we're not going to see millions and millions and millions of foreclosures. Not in this area for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's something we got to worry about here. So what? All right.
We want to talk about the ROI stuff.
I want to talk on the ROI here. Judah, get ready for this here. What excites you about this real estate market, Keith? Let's look at this from a positive perspective
sitting
first.
across from talking to you for 3 times.
What excites you about this market?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I think I've said this a bunch of times. I'm actually more excited about the real estate market right now than I've been in years, because I get an opportunity to have a 20-minute conversation with a young person who is seeking a trusted advisor, right? I need help, right? This isn't about numbers. This isn't about commissions. This is about helping somebody move one of these trips around the sun, right? Which is food, shelter, and clothing. And we do shelter in that to help this person go around a trip around the sun and build some equity and move up the housing ladder. That's why I'm excited about it. And you need to have your proverbial you-know-what together in order to really help people. And so that's what I'm excited about. I love doing it, man.
I like that. Judah, mark that right there for the first sizzle reel right
halfway
there.
through it, I'm going, he's doing a sizzle reel.
It was so good. It was so good. Now, the gist of today's show, the theme of today's show, and Jamie Turner, I think you'll appreciate this. Johnny Ornalis, I think you will. Mary Kirby, hello, welcome to the broadcast.
Hey,
Kevin
Johnny.
Yancey, Kevin Higgins. Folks, I think you'll like this. We're going to talk the value proposition of remodeling your house and what the return on investment is. This is data sourced from Cost Value, a very legitimate outlet.
So let's
in real
talk about
estate.
that for a second. That's an interesting group because that comprises of multiple entities. You have Remodeling Magazine does this. The National Home Builders Association is part of it. NAR, National Association of Realtors, are part of it. And they come together and they do this every year.
This is legit.
Going back to 202.
Right.
So I can actually pull the year out and figure out what was and what wasn't. But I'll let you finish your monologue as I start.
So absolutely. So Judah, we're going to create some content out of this as well. I have a feeling Keith is going to show some slides. So have you ever wondered what the return on investment for a garage door replacement is, or for a minor kitchen remodel, or if you take those windows and you replace them and you make them vinyl? How about a bath remodel if you stay in the mid-range game, or a complete window replacement? We have that data for you. So in a competitive market like this, making projects or making improvements like we're about to highlight will really help your property stand out where you can achieve top dollar. Keith, which one do you want to start with?
Well, let's start with slide number 1 because it's really interesting. So these are the top 10. They've been doing it for 20 years.
Top 10 things you can do to your house to drive ROI.
And of course, these are national stats, but for those of us who've been in the field or in the business locally, they kind of echo what we're seeing. But it's very interesting. The number 1 ROI, which produced 103.5%, was HVAC electrification. Look at that. I think I got that right. Conversion.
What does that mean?
There you go. I said, what does that mean?
What does that mean?
So
HVAC electrification conversion is the number 1 ROI that you can do from your house from a remodeling project, according to Cost Value, who is as legit as a source as you're going to find for items like this.
Except for Real Talk.
But
interesting, that's the first time it showed up in 5 years. Matter of fact, first time it showed up at all. So what that is if you have let's say a fossil fuel furnace, right? People are ripping them out now and putting electric heat pumps in, right? So if you have like oil or natural gas or LP, and it's interesting, Yona's got a listing that we're working on some offers that has oil in it, and it's every client or every agent that's calling us is asking us, well, how come they didn't convert it, right? So this is a big thing now, converting it. So if you've got an oil-fired or fossil fuel-fired heating and cooling system, and you go ahead and do that, so the national average is about 17 grand, it pulls in 18,000 at the table, you're actually gaining.
You come out ahead.
You come out ahead.
Yeah. And those are the kind of projects we'd like to see. Unfortunately, they're not all at a plus return on investment. In fact, from the slide that you've put on screen, Judah, if you want to put that back on there, there's only 4 projects that you can do where you recoup the entire value of your outlay.
So let's go to slide number 2, if you don't mind, Judah.
Please.
So this is the first time since 2017 any one of them went above 100%. So right now, you've got 4 items that you can do to your home that will generate at least what you put into it, if not more, right? And it's our proverbial entry door. We've been talking about that for years.
Garage door replacement.
Right? No, front door.
Oh, front door
Your front
replacement.
door. Now, it manufactured stone veneer, so this is like when you go ahead and put stone on the front of your home and dress up the front of your home. Garage door is number 2. So the first top 4 is all curb appeal.
Top 4 is not only all curb appeal, but the top 4 items here, you legitimately, according to this source, cost value, get 100% plus return on your investment. So folks would say, why not do this? Obviously, you got to have the cash to do the projects.
So I went back and looked at some previous shows, right? When, everybody's kind of tired of me talking about the 6 things, right? Location, price, features, condition, timing, and who on the other side matters. These are the 2 things. These are the features and the condition, right? They matter really more than anything right now. We were predicting this at the end. I just didn't know the numbers. We were predicting this the end of last year and the beginning of this year, that you're going to start seeing that. And I'm looking all the way back to 2002. There hasn't been a single year that there wasn't at least more than one over 100%. The last one was 2017. And you want to guess what it was, the remodeling thing that got over 100%?
In 2017?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Insulation in the attic.
Really?
That didn't even make this top
This is not
10.
even on the list.
Not even on the list this year.
Why do the items on the list change?
That's
Like,
great.
why are they not consistent year over year over year?
Well, so
I mean, some of them are.
Well, the garage door's been consistent, and
For
we've
a
been
while.
talking about that for years, right? Again, the front door has been consistent on it. So they are minimal entry dollar investments for the most part, but they get the highest return out, and they get the most eyeballs on a home. When you drive up to a home and you got a garage door that's fallen down or a front door that does not look pristine, you just start off at the wrong foot, right? So cleaning up the outside of the home and making it curb appeal makes a difference. It makes people want to walk into the door. But it's really interesting. If you go back to year 2019 on slide number 2, which is the brown, you really didn't have too much even coming close to 100%. There was a couple of north of 80, and there was one just right at 80, which is the kitchen remodel. Well, 19, 20, 21, what was the market like back in those days? You didn't need to do anything.
Right.
You just needed to have a door.
Right.
Right. You needed to be able to walk into the door. Having the home in the right condition with the right features matters now. It matters as well as location and price. All these items, these 6 items that I talk about in my sleep, Yona goes, "What are you mumbling in your sleep?" And I'm going, 1, 2.
Are you doing real
3.
talk with Keith Smith in your
I
sleep?
am. It's a
Next
lot
to
of
Yona?
This is a lot of pressure. A lot of pressure.
Yona, you're welcome to join us anytime.
I
I can't wait till your daughter moves here and she starts joining us, because his daughter is pursuing her real estate license as the Smith family and YRP embark on a potential second office in the Richmond market.
Well, we don't want to promise an office. There's a little office in the house they're buying. That might be.
I mean, do you even need an office? I mean, we talked about this, the Nest Realty downtown office, built to suite, built to suite, is now for rent in downtown Charlottesville, and there are no agents in there.
Yeah.
This is right next to ACAC in the Gleason building. We're talking 5,100 square feet.
I had a second phone call with a client over the weekend. I'll leave the client's name out of it, and we're negotiating some home inspection stuff and so forth and so on. And he quoted a show from 2 years ago.
What do you say?
Pardon?
What do you say?
Well, we were talking about the change in the market and so forth and so on, but the fact that he quoted something 2 years ago, and I went, thank you, but I can't remember what I did Friday. Today's Saturday. That's not really
And
fair.
on top of that, if folks that you're doing business with are referencing the show that you're doing from 2 years ago,
I must be doing something
you
right.
must be doing something
I
right.
must be doing something.
Yeah.
right. So look, we've been talking about this. This comes up this time every year, right? You know, in the last couple of years, it didn't matter. Projecting going forward, even though inventory is beyond tight,
Beyond tight. Understatement.
but if it ain't in the right location, it ain't in the right price, we don't have the right features, we don't have the right condition, and what's happening is the market is a bit lagging. To sellers in particular, it's usually what happens is sellers react much slower than buyers do. Buyers very quickly react to the change of the market. Sellers don't, for whatever reason. Had another conversation with a client over I got the proverbial, my next door neighbor said that I'm putting my house on the market too low. And I said, oh, great. So what real estate firm does your neighbor? Oh, they don't work in real estate. I said, oh, okay.
Wait. The next door neighbor goes to and says the price point's too
You
low.
put your house down too, price
Yeah,
too low.
because
Which,
the next door neighbor wants the value for their house.
by the way, by the end of the weekend, we had multiple offers and all this stuff. So we hit the right number. We hit everything right. But you're constantly having this battle of somebody else is a trusted advisor other than you, right? And you have to navigate that very carefully. But the answer was as well. We've received all these offers, and they were pretty much at the list price. So I think we actually called the market right.
Yeah.
But, the point is, well, I don't have to do anything to my home. That's not true. I mean, buyers are going to come in. Buyers right now, since they're paying 6%, 7% in mortgage, want to purchase a home that they don't have to
That's
put
ready to go.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they're at their ceiling with their monthly payment. And on top of that, as multiple people have highlighted, and it's worth me mentioning this to you, they're like, these projects we understand are affordable, but find somebody that can actually do the work in today's climate. Good luck with that. Multiple people have put that on the socials right now.
Yeah. So actually, you can pull down and go to Interstate Service Company. They can help you with this. Pull down our partners tab. They can help you with it. If somebody wants to do anything on any of these things, DM me. I've got people. I got a guy.
He's got a guy. He actually does. He's got multiple guys.
I got multiple guys.
I legitimately have seen him do this with a client that he represented with bringing their property to market.
Yep. And did it under budget and on time.
Yeah. And then got the house sold.
Not that I'm doing
Got
that.
the house under contract.
I can refer you out to folks. I don't want to be clear. I'm not going to GC it for you, but I can refer out to people that will get it done and do it. But look, a garage door is a simple thing. Call Apple Doors or whatever. That's a simple change out. Front door, maybe a little bit more complicated than that, but
Front door's a trip to Lowe's.
no, sir, it's a little more than that.
It's a trip to Anderson's.
It may be a trip to Lowe's for you to put it on your credit card.
Yeah,
Somebody's got
to deliver it.
Somebody's
and bring
got to
it.
remove the door, as you well know over here.
I knew you were going to bring it.
It takes skill to actually install a door, sir.
We have in our studio, what he's doing right there in our studio in downtown Charlottesville, we've had one of our doors
For years.
It
I got
not
tired of it.
installed properly till the Cape Crusader himself, Keith Smith, comes. Not only does he fight affordable housing during the day, but he's one of the best handymen you'll ever see in the afternoon and at night. Just don't
Yona's
tell
gonna want me to do
Yona,
more. Yona's going to want me to do
because
with
that
the house.
honeydew list is going to get longer.
Nix.
All right, we got questions coming in
Yeah.
fast and furious for you.
But but seriously, I can help. The HVAC conversion or upgrading. There's Albemarle Heating and Air, for instance, great company, right? You can get somebody in there to go ahead and get it swapped out. I strongly suggest doing that. Heating and air units are coming up on a regular basis when so people are now looking at the age, and people are now understanding if it's over 10 years, it should be something. What I found really interesting is this. Do you realize what wasn't on this list?
What was that?
Roofs.
Another thing that surprised me about this
I
list
would have expected that.
is they make sure to caveat with the kitchens and bathrooms that the remodels are minor and mid-range.
Great question.
Did you notice that, like, okay, so folks that want to do this sexy bathroom, primary bathroom remodel, it's not a master
what is the
anymore.
ROI on that?
Primary bathroom remodel or sexy kitchen remodel. The ROI is not there if you go
Never
super
was.
big splash.
It's never, if you can go
That's
back.
for quality of life,
Yeah.
but you're not getting ROI. If you do something minor, you're getting ROI. But even the minor bathroom remodel, the ROI on that's only 66% of what you spent. Will you put the first slide on there that shows it? Mm-hmm. I mean, the bathroom, everyone talks about kitchens and bathrooms selling homes.
So let's define what minor is, because I'm reading their
Please,
definition of minor. So it's generally replacing of countertops. So if you had a
Formica to granite. Yeah, right.
real Formica to granite, right? Replacing appliances, right? You're not redoing all the kitchen layout and so forth and so on. Changing out pulls and doorknobs, right? That's a simple upfit, right? So for instance, our home was built in 2001, and back in 2001, all the rage was the bright brass gold knobs. Well, right now it's either pewter or silver. Come on, stainless steel. That's the word I'm looking for. So we just swapped them all out. I go up to Lowe's, I got a whole thing, take a screwdriver, take it out, put it back in. I can do these things. It's not that complicated, right? And it jazzes things up a little bit. Countertops, when you're doing a renovation project and you're limiting it to one item, like let's talk about countertops. Cogswell Stone, out in Fluvanna County. They'll come in, remove the top, and put the top back on. You don't really have to bring electricians and plumbers and all these different folks in it. So when you're trying to do renovation projects, you want to try to singularly focus on some small things that only one person can do. Garage door, one company comes in, takes it out, puts it in. Front door, a little bit more work on that because you got to pull trim off and paint and so forth and so on. But I got a guy.
Coming in fast and furious. Are you ready?
I'm drinking coffee.
You're doing a great job today, Keith. Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners. Keith Smith, Yes Realty Partners. John Blair, hello.
Nobody wants me to put the hat on.
Neil Williamson, hello. I love the hat.
Yeah, I'm not going to put it on. I got a meeting after this. So
You don't want to mess up your hair.
I don't want to mess up there.
You got to make a presentation. You got to close the deal. Is the deal closed?
No, this is something else.
Oh, this is something else. Evidently, it's a secret.
Total secret.
Okay, it's a total secret. Okay, Jason
Well,
Howard.
if I tell you, promise not to tell anybody?
Tell me.
No,
I
I'm
promise.
not going to tell you.
I promise.
It's actually something to do with Neil Williams' home county.
Okay.
Got a little thing going on out there.
Well, speaking of Neil, he just left a comment 10 seconds ago. For your information, plumbers are usually involved in counter replacement. Kitchen sink, Keith.
Yeah, yes and no. I disagree with that.
You disagree with that?
I do.
Yeah.
But I very rarely disagree with
Sir Neil Williamson.
Sir Neil Williamson. It depends on what you're swapping out, right? If you're swapping out an undermount, usually the undermount is, not to get too geeky, the undermount's attached to the granite. And generally, if it's exactly in the same location, it's just a whole bunch of fittings that you can take off and put back on. If you're just literally replacing what's there, with existing or modern or updated fixtures, you don't need to be a plumber to do that. Now, you're reworking plumbing and you're bringing water from different spaces or drainage from different spaces. The answer is yes. But trust me, with a couple of wrenches, you can change out a faucet and a sink.
Keith Smith knows what's up. Jason Howard.
And I'm not betting my mustache, Neil, on that.
Well, it sounds like you're winning the bet.
Oh,
It
yeah.
sounds like Sir Neil Williamson is. I think is he buying you a bottle of bourbon? I think that was the bet.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah. Jason Howard says this: First Republic Bank failed over the weekend. Third bank since March.
And they got bought out by who? I saw something this morning on that.
Yeah, Chase,
remember-
J.P. Morgan
was it-
Chase.
was it
yeah.
Chase? Yeah.
Jamie Dimon came and saved the day.
Yeah.
Jason Howard says this: will this have any effect on mortgage lending or real estate, Keith?
Nah, it didn't. It didn't before. It won't this time. It's not a systemic issue that got us into trouble in 2008. This is really, this is a great question for Scott on Wednesday, but yeah, I don't see it.
You don't think it'll tighten lending at all?
Well,
I think it could tighten.
Lending's tight already, right? It could tighten it a little bit.
I think it's going to tighten commercial.
Well, yeah.
Tighten commercial lending.
Are we talking commercial or residential? I'm sorry, I missed that.
He was talking residential.
Yeah.
I added the commercial. He meant residential.
Yeah, so I don't see that, but lending requirements are super tight. That's the reason why, we won't have a repeat of 2008, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think so either. The equity's there, man.
And you also won't have back to the foreclosure thing. You won't, because all the bank's going to do is say, "Well, sell it," right? Now, what got us into trouble before was homes were being appraised more than what market value was, and people were borrowing more than what market value was at that particular time. Now we've got a bunch of equity built in, and there's just not enough inventory, except in Greene County. Greene County is going to get a bunch of inventory.
Yeah, but you're also starting to see the NIMBYs starting to pop their heads slowly up in green.
I would ask Mr. Williamson that.
How many units are coming on market in what period of time in green?
Oh, I would say, according to Jim Friedel, 1,800, probably 12, 24 months, maybe a little bit more than that.
So you're talking about 1,800 rooftops in less than 24 months in Greene County?
24, 36. I'd have to look at each individual project.
That's a boatload of rooftops.
Yeah, yeah. The Greene County is going to be the rock star over the next couple of years. I'm absolutely confident of that.
All right, what do you think the population of Greene County is right now?
Oh, God, that's a great question. I know I'm never supposed to say I don't know the answer to that, but I don't know the answer to that.
The population of Greene County right now, according to the 2020 census, 20,552 people. 20,552 people, according to the 2020 census, Greene County population.
I think Fulvana's like 27 or 28.
You get 1,800 rooftops. What's the average head per rooftop? 3.5?
No, 2.3.
Is that right?
Oh, yeah.
That seems light.
No, well, I never figured out who the 0.3 looks like, but
Whoa, so you're saying the average
I
head
believe-
count per American rooftop is 2.3?
I believe so. I don't know that for sure. I've seen that someplace before. Neil will know that for sure.
So you're talking, let's go with the 2.3 number. 1,800 times 2.3 is 4,140 people. Greene County basically is going to increase its population by 20% in 2 years.
Okay.
Think about that. That's what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
In 2 years, Greene County's population is going to increase by 20%. That's a substantial increase.
Hold on a second. Let's see if I got this right.
I think 2.3 is light. Neil Williamson says the 1,800 units are already in the pipeline in Greene. There's other new
Yeah.
projects that are facing headwinds in the county.
So,
Good Lord, even additional
according
units.
to Wise Voter, the state of Virginia is 2.6.
2.6. All right, let's take that number. 1,800 rooftops in the pipeline in Greene County times 2.6 people per rooftop. That's 4,680 people. According to the 2020 census, Greene County's population is 20,552 people. That means Greene County is going to increase its population by 22% over the next 24 months. That's a massive increase.
But it's been in the pipeline for a
Well,
while.
I get that, but that's a massive increase that will be noticed.
And Neil would know more.
That's a massive increase,
about
22% increase.
about the tracking, and I may be off a little bit, but you're gonna see those things in the pipeline come along. Now, to put a little bit of caveat to it, the fact that it's been approved, let's say rezoned and site plan approved, doesn't mean it's going to get built, right? There are going to be some percentage of those numbers that may not get built. Depends on where the location is and so forth and so on. But I can tell you it's probably going to be well north of 1,500 physical in the ground. I know Stanley Martin Homes, one of our fine sponsors, has a 500-unit project in Ruckersville coming out of the ground or in the horizontal portion of it on it, and so it doesn't take a couple more projects like that to get up to. Actually, it takes 2 more projects that size to get up to 1,500.
There's a massive population increase.
Yeah, yeah. Well, where are they going to go if not?
Neil says, Neil lives in Greene County. He's the president of the Free Enterprise Forum, all around A+ guy. We like him here. He says the market and availability of financing will dictate the absorption rate for any projects anywhere.
It's interesting. So the financing will be less.
I think you got Friedel watching you right now.
Hey, Jim. The financing would be less on the retail side, but more on the development side. What do I mean by that? All these interest rates that are climbing from the Fed impacts acquisition and development loans. So as the rate climbs, it becomes more expensive to develop. That's where the direct connection is on the interest rate that the Fed's raising. Because when you borrow development money, it's usually tied to prime, and it's generally, depending on how you negotiate it, anywhere between 1 to 2 points over prime. So whatever prime is, add 1 or 2 points, and that's generally what the developer's paying. And all the years that I did that, that was the number I was always tracking, because I did a budget based on X. Oops, interest rates just went up 2%, and that eats up to the bottom of my budget. So then what could happen is sections could not be built. Say, okay, well, we don't have the cash flow to do that now.
How many homes have you built?
Oh, I don't know, 600.
600 homes.
600,
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
So he's speaking from personal experience here. He developed what was called the Acres at Lake Monticello, right?
I did several acres, Nahor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or 6 developments.
Yeah.
Over the years, yeah.
So when prime goes up, cost of getting money becomes more expensive.
Money's more expensive.
The money's more expensive. The houses start at a higher price point.
It depends on where you're at in the spectrum, right? And it depends on how you're structuring it. I used to do much like what Stanley Martin does, right? They develop and sell. That's what I did, which was great until oops.
Yeah.
And but most developers don't do that. Most developers don't develop and go. So it's called horizontal and vertical. Most developers don't. Stanley Martin does, and so they're a little bit more flexible. But if I'm if I'm the developer doing a horizontal and I'm negotiating with Jerry the builder, I'm negotiating a takedown schedule, I'm negotiating a thing over time based on a purchase of today. And if my development costs go up, I can't go back to Jerry and go, oops, sorry, we now unless we negotiate it that way, which wouldn't happen.
Right. Right. Greene
I'm sorry,
County.
I geeked out there a little bit.
No, dude, please geek out. We like when you geek out over here. 1,800 units?
I get that, but I just can't wrap my mind around. This is the first time, and as you were talking, looking back, I'm back on slide number 2, Judah. This is the first time we've had more than one renovation since 2002 that exceeded 100% ROI. So that's telling me that the market is getting it, and the market is listening, and the market is working on the features and the conditions because they're building it into it now. So when Keith brings a buyer there, we don't have to go in and do it. Same thing happened with my daughter and son-in-law in Richmond, right? They paid a little bit more for the house, but everything is done. Brand new heat system, brand new refrigerator, brand new appliances, brand new paint job, brand new roof. Everything is brand new. So these young buyers are moving in, and they're good for a couple of years, at least that.
When's the move-in date?
We're closing first week of June, but they're not moving until the end of July, I think. July, August, something like that.
So that's when they're here.
They will not be here until July, August.
That's exciting.
I am excited about it.
I'm very excited for your family. He's got his, for those that watch Real Talk with Keith Smith, he's got his daughter, his granddaughter, and son-in-law moving from Seattle to Richmond as his son-in-law, a doctor, takes a job in the Richmond market. So it's going to be exciting. I think we're also talking about his daughter maybe coming on the program.
Yeah, she would love to come on.
Yeah, I think we would love
it'll pretty up the set a little bit.
And youngify the set, pretty up the set. And she's got valuable perspective to offer.
And she knows big words.
And she's pursuing a real estate license.
So last 7 days, just to look at this, to get this stat out there, we had 90 homes close in this 7 days. 25 of them were cash. I know that we were talking about that last week.
A comment's come on the feed here. This one's from Christopher, and Christopher says this: you guys bring up the cash buyers here, but as you've also indicated, and I think it's important to relay to your viewers, a lot of those cash buyers are immediately getting into a financing vehicle once the deal closes.
Yeah, we can't track that other than Scott can help us with that, but we can't track that. I can tell you the few that I'm working on, that's what they're doing. They're using cash
To win the deal.
to win the deal, and then they're financing it. But like the conversation I had with the young teacher on the way in is, literally in tears, right? I don't know what to do, right? I don't know what to do. My rent's going up double digits. Houses are going up single to double digits, depending on where you're at. How do I get off of this hamster wheel and get into that? And that's a 20-minute conversation that you kind of have to take it as it comes, right? And help this young person through it and say, we've got this, we can do this, we can get this, we can get there, but we've got to be patient, and we'll get there. We'll get you in it. It may not be exactly where you want, but we'll get it.
Interesting question from Laura Monk here, who says, is there a vetted list of contractors that Keith suggests for these projects?
Oh boy.
I know. You get yourself in a slippery situation. My advice...
How's the Mets doing this?
My advice, check out the Partners tab at Real Talk with Keith Smith.
Check out the Partners tab.
That's a good starting point for you.
DM me. Look, here's the wonky part of that. Every time I do I have to actually have a conversation with you to understand what you want and how your expectations are. Because right now, worst thing that could possibly happen to me is give you a suggestion that doesn't go well. There's that whole little concern. So DM me. I'll connect you with some folks that once we have a little bit of a chat, it's exactly what you're trying to do.
He's a good resource here, guys,
Yeah,
because remember, he's coming from a general contractor's background, so he's
Yeah.
vetted most of these people that he's working with.
Yeah.
And I legitimately saw him do this with a house in the urban ring
That needed a little help.
that needed help to come to market, and he gave the home the help it needed, and then he got it sold
I got it sold above what I thought we were going to sell.
above what you thought it would.
Can't
be.
get into the details.
After remodeling the house
Yeah.
under the price that you said it would be,
Yeah.
and less time that you said it would take.
And
I would say that's pretty much
none
a
of the
success
remodeling
story.
items, by the way, that we did in there was on this list.
Yeah.
It was simple stuff. It was painting, carpet, drywall work, basically making it smell like a new house again.
Yeah.
And it made a difference.
That was a great deal.
I think so. It made a difference. Look, I don't want to be cagey and not give names out over there. Just call me, and I will go ahead.
I don't think there's anything cagey about
Yeah. I don't. I want to help, but reach out to me.
that. Okay, how about this question that's come in? This one's from Spencer watching the
Oh
program.
God, you can wait. I'm like,
Spencer says this, then what worries Keith about the real estate market?
oh wow, that's a great question. That's a hard one for me to answer because I don't worry.
He's
that
a pretty positive guy. He's
Yeah.
not really much of a worrier. So this is
Yeah.
all right, how about, let me rephrase Spencer's question.
No, it's a great question.
Is there a headwind in particular that worries you the most or concerns you the most?
Well, there's always the thing you don't know about, right? Right. That's always if you want to use the word worried or concerned, it's always about
The unknown.
the thing you don't know about yet that hits you, and it's how you adapt to that makes the difference, right? But at the moment, what's before us at the moment, look, I'm deeply concerned about what's happening in some parts of the world, but will that directly impact our housing market here? Probably not. The bank issues that are going on, will that impact our local world? Probably not. So what I'm worried about is this phone call I had that I can't help. I can't say, got the perfect house, let's go do this, let's get it done. What worries me is keeping the buyer in the game. That's what worries me. I don't know. That's a great question. I don't really think that way. It's a weird thing, but I
No,
don't.
I'm the same. I appreciate the question, Spencer. I'll try to rephrase it here on the talk show.
It's a great question,
The buyer that we're most
When Mrs. Smith raises the life insurance policy, that worries me.
the buyer that we're most concerned about is obviously the first time one, because that buyer does not necessarily have the capital to compete. So if there's something that worries us, it's
got
the
it.
future for that.
I
No?
got it.
Okay, what do you got? Go.
I got it. You know what worries me the most is particularly sellers, because I think buyers do this, not trusting their trusted advisor. Right? I think that's what worries me the most. What worries me is they read what's on the clickbait, they listen to somebody who's not in the field or not in the business every day that really understands or digs into these numbers and this data by the minute in it, and that's what worries me. They don't trust our counsel.
Okay.
And that's a difficult thing. You consult for people. You did it with me, right? How long did it take me before I said yes, right?
Yeah. A little bit, not too long.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But, that's,
Think
when,
about everything a lot.
when somebody hires you for your opinion and you give it and they don't take it, that is a bit worrisome to me.
Well, I mean, I'll try to play devil's advocate for the sake of
I don't know
the
if
talk
that
show.
made any sense.
That made sense. The market is changing so quickly, it's difficult for someone not in the game to not listen to all the opinions out there. It
No, I
seems
get
like
that.
every quarter is a different market here in Central Virginia.
But that's why you want to.
What someone is being told, say, in January may be outdated by the time February or March hits. That's why
I mean,
they're
I'm looking
listening
at
to
the
some-
cash thing. Who knew this time last year? Well, interest rates started climbing this time last year.
Yeah.
Right? But who knew cash was going to be.
to dominate like it has.
Yeah. In some locations, 50%.
I mean, Charlottesville City, you're basically talking half the deals in all cash.
Yeah, I'd have to take a look at it.
Albemarle
What
County,
happened.
a third. Well, that was as of last week.
Yeah, I would be interested to see what the week over week kind of did on that. But yeah, so like it's the unknown. Boy, there's very few questions that would stump me. That has stumped me. I don't know how to answer that question.
You're not worried about the inventory,
Well, I am, right?
but it's going to solve itself out. I don't think that's getting solved anytime soon.
I don't think so either.
Yeah.
No, I don't disagree with that.
We're going to have an inventory shortage for a generation.
So that's why this conversation I had with this young teacher was, okay. The conversation was, I was watching and listening to the news and expecting prices to drop by 20%. And they've gone up. I said, yep. And we do this little show called Real Talk. Why don't you listen to it every once in a while? But
You told her that was a national headline.
that was a national headline.
Yeah.
It is not happening locally. There's a couple markets locally
Buckingham.
that the prices are, let's say, soft
Yeah.
on it. But the reality of it is it's going to continue to climb in here, and we got to get on it. Otherwise, you're just going to be going around and around in this hamster wheel.
Judah Wickower, Jerry Miller, Keith Smith, Real Talk with Keith Smith. This comment's come in. Why is there not more development happening in Augusta and in the Waynesboro area if we have this many buyers?
Well,
it is happening.
It is happening, actually.
Yeah, it is happening.
And we highlighted that. I think it was on the Friday show.
It is happening.
Where the new construction, that's actually one of the few areas that are increasing its volume. So the other side of the hill is definitely.
Did you suggest that?
Excuse me?
Did you suggest that to the teacher?
No, because she still.
Wants to stay local.
And this takes time, right? This takes time. Okay, fine. We have to go through this process slowly and methodically, and eventually we'll move out. And then eventually the conversation will have, hold it. I can afford something in the other side of the hill. Then we have to do this whole ROI on gas and versus rent and so forth and so on. But it's a lot of kitchen table discussions.
Amy Wilson, being a teacher, living in Augusta County, that's me, and working in city schools, that's me again, has really made it difficult to pay bills.
Say that again?
She lives in Augusta and works in city schools, and she says the commute has made it difficult to pay bills.
Well, that's what I just said. So you have to sit down and do the ROI and say, okay, you're spending this much in fuel, this much in in maintenance on the vehicle, what does it look like spending a little extra money if it's even possible to do it?
She also adds this. Throw in the fact that it's an additional 30 to 40 minutes, and
Sure.
you can see why this is difficult, especially as the year goes on.
Time is money.
Yeah.
Time is money, right? And in the winter months, you're probably leaving in the dark and coming home in the dark. But
Yancey says go to work for Augusta County Schools.
that's a.
You could consider changing jobs.
You could do that, but the point I was trying to make at when you sit down at the kitchen table and you bring a trusted advisor and you start doing the math and you say, okay, well, what if we find something that's X dollars more, but it's closer? So some folks are just looking at the mortgage payments, but they're not looking at the rest of the costs, which is, I think, what we're talking about
Yeah,
right now.
right.
So if we can lower these rest of the costs, $100 a month, $50 a month, $200 a month, whatever it is, then maybe we can put it on the purchase side as far as a mortgage goes. That was a lot easier conversation to have when interest rates were 3%. It's much more difficult when it's 5 or 7, and you got to get a little creative.
What's the, how many deals you done on that side? You guys do a fair amount, don't
We
you?
do, and we do quite a
Yeah,
bit.
he does a fair amount with Yes Realty Partners. It could be a good guy to reach out to consider that side of the market.
Yeah.
This comments come in. A lot more are doing this, however. Keith is right.
Yeah, so it's...
My friend Adam, I saw him at the Riverview Park. He's with his kids. We were with our kids. And he was saying he just moved to Augusta County. He's in Charlottesville City Schools. That's a heck of a commute, man. Teachers are heroes. Imagine teaching, then driving to Augusta home after teaching a full
the
day
conversation
of
with
today's kids.
The conversation with the young person, the young teacher, was considering getting out of the
Profession.
profession.
Yeah, we talk about that constantly.
So to your thing, 100 units closed in the city of Charlottesville. This is everything attached, detached.
This is year to date.
Year to date. Attached, detached condos, awfully close. 42 of them were cash. So you were awfully close to 50%.
100 units year to date, 42 units all cash.
So from
And that's any kind of product.
as any kind of product. So these are detached, attached, and condos. There was 100 closings between January 1st to May 1st. Can you believe it's May already?
That's
May
amazing.
1st on it. 42 were cash. 4 of them were a conventional ARM, and then 49, if the math is right. It breaks down a couple other ones, but
4 of the 100 were an ARM.
yeah, go figure, huh?
That's a small percentage.
Yeah. So it's interesting. The median sales price for the cash deals,
Median?
median.
Median, okay.
Sorry about that. The
Okay.
median sales price for the cash deals was $417,500. For the finance, it was $500. Don't know what
Get
that.
out of town. Median for cash deals was 417.5.
Yeah. So
417,500. Median for finance deals was what?
502.
Did you hear that, Judah?
Both had the same days on market, by the way. 31, which I thought.
So,
interesting.
City of Charlottesville, year to date, 100 units closed year to date.
Year to date.
42 of those units all cash.
Yep.
This is any kind of product, detached, attached, and condos.
Correct.
The median price for the cash deals, $417,500.
Yep.
The median price for the finance deals, $502,000.
So that's the conventional fixed on it. The ARMs were 432, but you know the conventional fix is what you really need to be looking at because they were 49.
Does that show the leverage or the buying power of the cash buyer?
Yeah,
The delta with price? I mean, that's a substantial delta.
You'd have to dig into all of those things, but you're 100% right. Cash is always king.
Yeah.
You know, I can't give you the.
We're talking about 85K here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's massive.
That is massive. Just out of curiosity.
You're going to do Albemarle County?
Look at that. Look at you. Look how good you are.
So I'll repeat those numbers. I'll make sure we give Real Talk with Keith Smith credit if we utilize this information again, probably on the I Love Seville show like we did last week.
Am I supposed to get a royalty? on that?
You will get a royalty. The city of Charlottesville.
It's the same bank that took all the money out.
Yeah, SVP. Your royalty is somewhere in a bank.
What did you say?
Your royalty is somewhere in a bank account at Silicon Valley Bank. Your royalty is somewhere in the same place the cashier's check. Where does it go? Where does that money? Why does it take 2 days?
I don't know why it
When
takes
they
2
have
days.
thousands
I
of
literally
dollars.
was watching it on my phone
I
as they
know.
were writing. I went, "Shoo, wow, look at that."
Is the money in purgatory?
I don't know.
Where do you think it is?
They probably know it's Smith, and they go, yeah, we're going to let him wait a little bit.
City of Charlottesville, he's doing Albemarle County, 100 units closed year to date in 2023. 42 of those deals have been all cash. That includes any kind of housing product, detached, attached, or condos. Here's a great stat. The median price for those cash deals, $417,500. The median price for the finance deals, $502,000. Judah, there's an $85,000 delta between the cash deals and the finance deals. That's massive.
Albemarle County,
Can't wait to hear it.
489 total sales. So again, same thing. This
Year to
is-
date,
Year to date.
489.
This is detached, attached. There's not a lot of condos in Albemarle County, but I threw it in there. And oh, by the way, it does not segregate out new construction. So this is everything.
Okay.
And out of curiosity, I want to see what the difference on new construction is. So 489, 146 of them were cash.
146 cash.
So there's a bunch of other ones, but the next largest block is your conventional fix at 282. The cash median sales price was, we'll call it 500, 499,995.
Median for cash deals was 500K.
Let's call it 500. Conventional 461.8.
461.8, so that's lower.
Call it 462. Yeah. Now I'll bet you when I pull that out, new construction would impact that because
Oh, no doubt.
there's no new construction
Yeah.
in the city
Of Charlottesville. Albemarle County, 489 units sold year to date. Any kind of product, including new construction, in that 489. Of those 489 deals, 146 of them were cash. That's a substantial percentage. 489 times 0.3.
So when
We're
I
talking 30%.
So when I pull
Cash in
out
our
new
market.
construction, which is what we were talking about on Friday, how new construction is ramping up big time, 334 sales. This is new construction's pulled out.
Okay.
116 were cash, 178 was conventional.
What was the total for no new construction?
334.
334 units closed, no new construction.
Cash was 116. Median sales price on that was 459.
116 was cash. Good Lord.
Conventional fixed was 178 at 450. So it's pretty close.
Yeah, pretty close. Still, cash is crushing. For the no new construction, the cash deals take up even a larger percentage.
So let's
We're
look.
talking 35%. If you take new construction deals out of the equation, 35% of the deals in Albemarle County year to date have been cash. If you include new construction, that number drops to 30%. Regardless, still a competitive and substantial percentage of the market.
New construction only, Albemarle
Go.
County.
Yeah.
155 units. 30 of them were only cash, so that was a much lower number. 104 were fixed, conventional fixed. On the 30 cash, the median sales price was $530. On the conventional, which is interesting, on the conventional it was $478. That's a huge swing. So cash was roughly $530, conventional $478.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's the folks, I think, coming down with cash and
Yeah.
buying new construction.
That's what I'm saying. I
and
mean,
all
this
that,
is
yeah.
just...
But that's, it's...
Is this market comparable to any you've seen in your 37 years of being in business?
You ask me that all the time. Man, each market's got its own little thing,
Okay.
right? Its own little life, right? I think from the perspective of a buyer, I just think this has been probably one of the hardest, if not the hardest I can remember, to get a buyer across the table, because we've just never been able to recover from the time of great unpleasantness and the plummeting of new construction units. Like we went from roughly 2 million units a year down to 500, 300 for like a decade. And it just We just have not been able to recover from that. Last couple of years, I think the numbers have been north of 1 million. I can't remember the exact numbers, but and until we get that new construction inventory going, it impacts the existing, right? So,
I don't see that happening anytime soon.
yeah, I mean, we're doing at the Regional Housing Partnership, we're kind of pivoting from the summit that we did, which was kind of covered what the problem was, and we're now talking about solutions, right? Everybody kind of knows what the problem is, so how can we do solutions? So hopefully we can come up with some solutions. But to Neil Williams' point, without a ready, willing, and able seller, I don't care what the rules and zoning says, it ain't going to happen.
Friend of the program, Stephanie Wells Rhodes, watching the show.
Hey, Stephanie.
Love when you watch the show, Stephanie. How you doing?
ISC, you call them up.
Interstate Service Company, a home's best friend, a proud partner of the show. ISC, Interstate Service Company. Keith, I appreciate what you're doing here because the clarity that you offer in this approachable setting is welcome. I had no idea that cash was such a dominant player in today's market. I had no idea that there were 4 legitimate remodeling items that you can do to your house that will drive return on investment at a greater clip than what you paid for the projects. I mean, that sounds like no-brainers to me.
Well, like I said, I mean, I'm pulling up 2017 was the last time it was over 100. It was only one, and it was the attic insulation. 2016, and I can put the link in everybody's thing. There was only one that was over 100%, and that again was attic insulation. 2015, there was only one that was over 100%, and it was back to the front door. So front door has been a consistent top
That
2
makes
or
sense.
3
It's the first thing you say.
on it. But let me see. Let's go down to 2013. So that's 10 years back. There wasn't 10 years ago. There wasn't the highest return on investment was 85%, which was your front door. So to say that there's 4 items this year that exceed 100%, to me is blowing my mind.
It's blowing my mind too.
And it only solidifies what we've been talking about on this features and this condition. Slide number 4 and number 5. Hold it. I think I screwed it up. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4. 3 and 4 is features and condition. One is one. I say I do it in my sleep so I don't screw it up. Right? Location, price, features, conditions. 3 and 4. Thank you, Judah, for keeping me straight.
And Judah always keeps it straight. Judah Wickower can always jump in here, and look at you. You're putting the slides on screen. Judah, you were...
But if you look at if you go to my slide number 2, Judah, again, what's even more amazing, there is
we got a lot
1,
here.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are over 80%. So you have 7 things. That's your kitchen remodels, siding replacement. There's 2 versions. There's cement fiber and vinyl, entry door, stone veneer, garage door, and then now the HVAC. Those are generating more than 80% of what you cost to go ahead and do it. So we need to reach out to these folks and ISC in particular and see if we can help me with some of these things.
All the partners at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, realtalkwithkeithsmith.com, all the partners located there. I'll try to get to as many of these as possible. This is a good one for Keith on Charlottesville. What's the best play if you're looking to buy in Charlottesville and you already have a house that you own? Keith has mentioned before he suggests selling your house and then using a caveat, I don't think that's the right word, but using the opportunity to stay in the house for up to 60 days so you can find it. That seems like a short window with not much inventory on it. Yeah, he said caveat. I think he's talking contingency.
Yeah. So I mean that's the outside of the box thinking you have to do it. But this is all about relationships, right? So I pick up the phone and call the agent on the other side on this particular house you're trying to buy or something like that, or we're trying to sell, where we communicate back and forth because, sometimes sellers have to move out, right? They want to close because they're doing the same thing, right, someplace else. But, to take a deeper dive into that, you can put your home on the market. You can say, look, I'll accept contracts contingent upon me finding another home in so many days, depending on your location, right, how hot it is. And then, look, we want to negotiate back some rental time, which gives you some runway, 2 or 3 months to go ahead and do it. It's how we help the kids in Richmond. Literally the same exact thing. And I said, look, how about this? The agent on the other side said, you know what, that's perfect. Nobody else of the 30 offers offered that as a solution, and we won. We also were top price too.
Yeah, that helped. But I mean, it was icing on the cake.
It was icing on the cake. So you can negotiate on the front end as the seller to try to stay in your home. If it's in a place that is going to draw a lot of activity, right, then you're in a great position to do that. And trust me, you will find buyers that'll be more than happy to do that. Then you have a pot of cash and go buy something.
This is from Jennifer, who says, how's the wintergreen market doing, Keith, now that the market has slowed some?
Well, I haven't looked at it in a little while. I don't want to disparage my Nelson County, Greene County wintergreen folks, but I think when I start taking a look at that, you're going to find quarter over quarter it's a little soft. I think inventory is going up, and it's going to be a little soft. I think a lot of that has to do with the euphoria of work from home and the pandemic.
That's gone away.
It's gone away. Yeah, so I can look at that and be ready for it on Friday. It's just you and I on Friday again.
Fridays, he'll bring that up on Friday's show.
I'll
That's a
bring
good
it up
idea.
Friday.
I would imagine the wintergreen market is flat at best.
Yeah, I can try to do something.
No. Let's save it for Friday. That's a good point for Friday.
I'll save it for Friday. I'll do some data, some slides for the show on Friday.
Yeah, I would think it would be flat at best. All right, how about this? For the viewers and listeners watching the program, you're the voice of reason, Keith. You become often the voice of real estate locally. Offer some...
Did you say reason?
Voice of real estate locally.
There you go.
That's what I said. The show is yours, my friend.
You clearly haven't spoken to my wife about that whole reason thing.
You have reason.
Yeah.
I speak,
Isn't that a beer? Reason? Isn't it a beer?
Reason is a brewery.
Brewery, see?
Actually, it was a brewery. Champion acquired Reason. It is now no more.
Well, okay. Back on a higher note.
Multiple people are putting the listings that are on the market in wintergreen right now.
Yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Guys, there's a lot of listings on the market right now.
Yeah, wintergreen has always been one of these, and we really should bring Gavin Sherwood in, who's an expert on wintergreen. Not so much myself on that. I've only done a few sales and out there over the years, but it's a vacation community for the most part.
Sloan says there's 17 homes on the market in wintergreen right now.
Is that David?
Sloan.
Sloan. Okay.
No, not David Sloan. No, I love David Sloan though.
Love him very much. So.
17 homes on the market.
Yeah. And if you take a look at the absorption rate, it's back in the days on market. It's just, people buy into wintergreen because they can, and this is their home that they go and ski
Chill.
at or whatever.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah, have fun.
Yeah. We'll talk wintergreen, guys, on Friday. Some closing thoughts from the distinguished gentleman.
Yeah, I keep on thinking two things. One was the conversation I had with the young teacher on the way in today. And, if you're in the market to buy, be patient, right? And, this too shall pass. We will win the day. It'll take time, but we will win the day. The fact that the HVAC is the number one is just blew my mind. When I opened it up over the weekend, I did not expect it. I fully expected the garage door to be number one again, and it got kicked down to number two. But there's look at these slides. There's 4 things that you can do to your home that'll increase your value right off the bat, that you'll get over 100% of what you put into it.
We'll save wintergreen for Friday, and we'll save the financing from Jason for Scott on Wednesday's show. Scott Morris of Ross Mortgage on Wednesday's program. So we'll talk all the bank questions. I think you did a fantastic job putting together yet another strong show. I learned quite a bit today.
Thank you.
You know I like the data.
I know you do.
Are the slides going to be archived at Real Talk with Keith Smith?
That's actually not a bad idea.
Can we archive them here? Real Talk with Keith Smith. My friend, bravo.
Bravo. Thank you. Have a great day, everybody. Patience, and I'm going to go try to help a young teacher find a house.
He helps people buy and sell
That's
houses.
right. That's right.
If you need somebody to ride or die with you, here's
There
the
you go.
guy
I'm
for
in.
you.
I'm in 100%.
Keith Smith. Yes,
110% actually.
110%. Or in the HVAC electrification conversion process,
103.5%.
103.5%. And you know that's pretty damn good.
Garage door would be 102%.
I would
Stone,
take that. I would take that as well.
That's right.
I would take all the way down to the entry door replacement of 100.9% for me.
I'll take it.
Judah Wick, Howard, Keith Smith, Jerry Miller, Real Talk, presented by Yes Realty Partners, I Love Sevo Show in T-minus 1 hour.
Pull down the partner tabs,
Partners, website.
please.
Do it, please. Thank you kindly for joining us. So long, everybody. Bravo, my friend.
Yeah, thank you.
That was a good idea, doing this.
Oh.